What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the 2021 edition of the Mossy Oak Fishing Recap right here. First tournament of the year, St. Johns River, Palatka, Florida. Finishing this one up. I don't know what place I came in.
12th.
Okay. Finishing this one up in 12th place. Great way to start the year. Really wish I could have hung in that top 10, man, because the fishing's getting better every single day. Out there on the St. Johns River. We're having a warming trend down here in Florida. It's getting up to like 80 degrees every day. So the fishing's obviously getting better every day. But, you know, like I said, a great way to start the season. Let's talk about this tournament a little bit, my experiences here. So this is my 8th year on the Elite Series this year, and my 5th time fishing the St. Johns River. So, I mean, I'm almost starting to feel like a dang local down here. I've been down here this time of year so many times, but it's weird on this river, man. I've never caught them in the same place. It's different every single time, and that's typical of a river system. It really is. But, you know, coming into this tournament, I knew what I want, the areas I wanted to look at. The big deal is here, you just got to find an area, pick it apart, and that's what I ended up doing. That's how I ended up catching my fish. But 3 or 4 different things I'll talk about, the way I caught them and some different ways. The first day, so we only got to fish about a half a day the first day. We had a long fog delay, finally got out there, and I had found a pretty neat little deal. It was almost like a little shad spawn deal, and I only caught 3 fish on day 1, but like I said, I only had 3.5 hours. But that's the day that really cost me. I only had 7.5 that day, and I caught them twitching around, a little fluke. Day 2, so I go into these canals knowing that there's spawning fish moving up every day. Well, day 2, I get in this canal. I hadn't had a bite at like 9:30, 10 o'clock. And when I first get in there, I see a couple of fish on a bed, and they're kind of acting finicky, but I get back to the back, and I pitch a wacky worm up next to a little clump of matted vegetation, and I catch like a 4-pounder. And I'll show you guys my wacky rig. You've seen it tons of times before, but this is the size 2 Titan X Wacky Nico hook. That's a 6-inch Berkeley Maxcent General. Green pumpkin when the sun was shining, black and blue when it was cloudy. That's all I did on that deal. I caught like a 4-pounder on day 2. That was the first fish I caught about 10 o'clock. Well, then I roll around through there and I see a couple sitting on a bed. And the male was like a 3 1/4 and the female was about a 5-pounder. And I knew if I could catch both of those, I'd be well on my way to a really good day. So I tried the wacky worm. I tried a couple of different, I tried a little white creature bait. I tried a little green pumpkin creature bait. They wouldn't have any part of it. They didn't want anything to do with it. So I got down in my boat and I tied on a Ned rig because I figured these fish in Florida haven't seen a whole lot of Ned rigs. So let me get this little dude. I put on a chartreuse head and just a little Z-Man Ned rig. That color's called the Deal. I wanted something that I could kind of see on the bed, and I swear to you guys, as soon as I pitched that thing on the bed, that female was acting crazy. She came from 6 feet away to bite that bait, and the very next pitch I caught the male. So, you know, that kind of set the tone for day number 2. Ended up having 21-12 on day 2. Also caught some on day 2 on a rattle trap. I ran to a little hard spot up in one of the springs and caught some on a rattle trap. That's the Spro Aruca shad. I put size number 4 Mustad KVD Elite trebles on there, 17-pound Vicious Pro Elite fluorocarbon, 7 3-to-1 reel, and a 7.4 medium heavy rod. And I made 2 or 3 culls late in the day on that rattle trap. So, you know, it was kind of a smorgasbord of fishing, if you will, but it ended up being a good day, 21 and 3/4 pounds. All right, day 3 rolls around, and I really didn't know where I was going to start. And I knew those fish in that canal. I knew there was a couple of bed fish in there still. So I started in there just real slow. And one of my favorite ways to catch them down here in Florida is a topwater prop bait. My favorite one is the Rapala X-Rap prop. I put size 4 Mustad KVD Elite trebles on there. I throw it on 20-pound vicious mono, straight mono, 7-foot medium heavy rod, and a 7 1-to-1 reel. And all you do is you just get back in these canals and you try to visualize where these fish are spawning in these little pockets and cuts. You throw that prop bait in there and just work it real slow. That's how I caught my first couple. And then later on in the day, it started raining. I started catching them on the wacky worm, and every one I caught was a female. So it was another really good day on day 3. Ended up with 21-3. So caught them a lot of different ways. I just kind of had to fish the conditions this week, but it was all about being in a good area. My best advice to anybody, if you come to Florida, find a good area, slow down and pick it apart. It always works for me. I think it'll work for you guys too. But excited to get the year started off on a good note for sure. Y'all stay tuned, man. A couple more weeks, we'll be back home in Tennessee. Not really home water for me, but it's a lot closer to home than here. So looking forward to that one. Y'all stay tuned. I'll see you next time right here on the Mossy Oak Fishing Recap.